Good evening, Goombas. You're listening to the Collective Gamescast, the gaming podcast that gives you a voice. This is episode 6, In the Shadow of NX. I'm your host with the most hatred for Wii remotes, the Malgadar. With me, as always, is Chris.
What's up, guys?
He's more useful than Rob the Robot. And our guest tonight is Yogi.
Hey, what's up? How you doing?
And he's available in 6 different colors, just like the N64.
Nice.
As always, if you want to join in on the festivities, the Google Hangout goes live at 10 Eastern on Fridays. And if you want to be one of the guests on the show, you can email us at collectivegamescast@gmail.com. All right, guys. So, Chris, what have you been up to?
Oh, man, this week has been gameless, I will say. I think, I don't know. I just didn't have much time to play anything like I wanted to. I mean, unless we include Sunday, which was just filled with Diablo.
That's not so bad.
I played, I think, a total of 4 hours playing Diablo. It was a little crazy. It's so much fun.
Well, I can't blame you. Diablo is always fun. Well, anything outside of gaming going on that's good?
No.
Jeez,
nope.
That's
pretty much
rough.
it. Yeah, it's been pretty much just work and doing some side jobs, you know.
Okay.
Ran into some issues with SoundCloud doing I'm not on the other podcast, but I help get it online and get it ready. Ran into some issues with syncing it with iTunes and all that other stuff. So, but now I should be all right.
Okay. No. All right. Well, Yogi, what have you been up to?
Just finished up Mad Max, playing that a little bit for a while. I really only get to play kind of during the weekends, and then I just started kind of switching back and forth, which has been really tough with Metal Gear, the new one, and now Syndicate. I just picked that up today.
Okay. I guess you haven't gotten too far in it then?
No, I probably only got about 15 minutes into it. It moves a lot smoother, but you know, with any Assassin's Creed, it's always like they probably could have pushed the graphics a little bit more.
Yeah, I don't know if they have multiple teams working on those Assassin's Creed games each year or not.
It seems, I mean, slightly better. You know, like each Assassin's Creed seems slightly better than the one before, but you know, they could really push it, and they never do. They can make it like completely beautiful. Backgrounds are great, but the characters could have been done a little bit better.
I mean, if they stopped releasing it yearly, they probably could have more time to actually do that.
Yeah, probably.
Yep.
Good point.
Yeah, that's why I just wondered if they had multiple teams, because like they were doing what Call of Duty's doing with multiple teams, so that they do actually get a true full cycle. You know?
Yeah.
But I have no idea if that's what's going on.
I mean, I wish they would jump back to like a Prince of Persia. You know what I mean? And then maybe, you know, take some time and develop really an Assassin's Creed and come back. Because that was their answer to Prince of Persia when it dropped, if you remember when the first one came out. Because they did that trilogy, and then they said they're not going to make it anymore, and then they went to Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, that would work. That would work.
Yeah, so, other than that, work. I get up at 4 in the morning and work on a military base, which is always exciting, especially when you're not military anymore. Nothing like staring at a wall. So,
well, that's why you got gaming to kind of bail you out, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I don't get to shoot real weapons anymore, so I use my Call of Duty. Worked out active aggression that way.
Plan on getting the new one?
Yeah, I just it's getting too far with the futuristic stuff for me though. I'm starting to get afraid. I wish they would kind of take a step back. I love modern.
Yeah, those are probably the better ones.
And then maybe like a little futuristic, you know, like around the corner kind of gun. But like once they started going to like the jumps and all, I'm like, how much further until we actually hit Master Chief and start, you know, fighting aliens?
Yeah, it seems like it's going to whatever was like the hottest game at the time, or was going to be. Like this one looks kind of like Titanfall without the robots and maybe a little Deus Ex. But
yeah.
Can you do a little Deus Ex?
Oh, they did a little.
I do all Deus Ex. Oh,
Oh man.
never mind. My bad.
Okay, well, my continued, pretty much, I need rehab. This Metal Gear Solid 5 thing is just getting absolutely out of hand at this point. I, I can't stop. The game is, once it gets its teeth in you, it's just, your life is over. I did a bunch of missions, I think I told you last week that I beat the final boss, and I started doing some of the missions that go past that, and I've been playing through them. I did a total stealth mission today, was able to be successful, and those are tricky because you are caught. It's game over as soon as any enemy spots you. No reflex mode. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, so it's pretty
rough.
difficult. But did you do the mission where you got to destroy or Fulton the walker gears?
Yeah. That's like one of the first
Oh,
like
me-
5 in there, right?
It's like 15, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I did that, but I had to do all this crazy stuff to make it happen. Like, first I take D-Dog with me so that I can mark everybody in the base. Then I run around the base, make sure I know where everybody is. I run up onto this giant rock outcropping, and I get up there so I can see everything, and I see all the walker gears. So then I send D-Dog away. I call Quiet down. I have her change equipment to the lethal weapon, the Sinful Butterfly. I had some C4 I put on the other side of the camp. I explode that, tell her to cover me, get all their attention off to the other side of the base, and then I'm up on top of the rock outcrop with my like mega awesome godly rocket launcher, and I just target the walker gears and blow them up, and then move to the other side, target the other two, blow them up, and get out of there.
What?
Yeah.
I just went straight in. I didn't even use D-Dog, which I regret.
Yeah, but you gotta remember, I'm doing total stealth now. Going straight in is a lot more dangerous.
That's true. Because I did get caught like 15 times. She only spotted like 6 of the dudes that were there. And they were just like patrolling the area. I'm like, this doesn't even make sense. Like, I told you to scout the area, and you've only scouted 5 dudes, which I was like, oh, well, this should be easy. Just gonna walk right in. No.
Yeah. Well, the key thing I learned by doing this mission was that you can change your buddy's equipment. I had no idea I could do that in the field.
Oh, you can do it in the field.
Yes. And it's not even a supply drop or anything. You just pick it and they switch to the other weapon.
Interesting.
Yeah. I was like, you know how many times I wanted to do that and couldn't and had to pick before the mission if I wanted to go lethal or, tranquilizer?
Yeah.
So that was really cool to learn because that's going to help a lot. And it was really useful in the next mission I did. Remember the convoy, the trucks?
Yep.
I did that again, and it was great because I just did it while I was already out there. So I had Quiet switch back to her tranquilizer sniper, went to the base, got the file, figured out where they were going, ran over to the other outpost, took all the guards out there too, Fulton them all away, and then had her switch back to the lethal one and set up a trap for the convoy when it arrived. Dude, with the Sinful Butterfly, she smoked the skulls. Like, I honestly didn't even have to get involved. I did, but I didn't need to.
Oh, that one pissed me off so many times.
Well, this was on extreme, too, where you take more damage, and enemies have, like, better, they have, like, better senses, too.
Okay.
And I S-ranked it. It was so easy.
Oh, so easy.
I couldn't believe it, but the equipment difference between the first time and this time is so great that even on extreme, it doesn't really matter.
Nah, I gotta get that Sinful Butterfly then.
Oh, it's a beast. So yeah, I'm really enamored with the game. And my PF rank went up 250,000 spots.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was like, I don't know what I did for that, but okay, I'll take it. So, yeah, the game continues to just be so great. I can't stop playing it, and it's just so repetitive, but it doesn't ever seem to get in the way.
Man.
Yeah. So, other than that, a little bit of Final Fantasy Tactics on the phone when I've got time. I'm in Chapter 4 now. I've got calculators and ninjas, and I am just pretty much smoking the game. Yeah. So it's going to start getting tougher in Chapter 4 now, but that's pretty easy where I'm at right now. I love that game. One of the greats. Yeah. Okay. So that's what we've been up to. So usually we like to introduce our guests. You already told us a little bit about yourself, Yogi, but we usually get our guests to give us their core 4. And that's 4 games that say something about them as a gamer so that people get an idea of where your opinion comes from. So just, give us your core 4. Let's hear what you got.
It's a little rough, 25, wow, 30 years of gaming now.
Yeah, it's tough to pick just 4, isn't it?
Yeah, it's. I would have to go Simon's Quest, old school, dude. Loved Simon's Quest.
Oh, man.
For the Nintendo.
And that was crazy, too, because it was such a departure from the previous ones.
Yeah, I mean, it was nothing like the other Castlevanias. It was trying to, push the limits of what they could do with an RPG for such a small amount of memory and graphics and things like that. And I always loved that vampire horror genre since I was a kid. And then there's a Far Cry 4, which just blew my mind with open world. You know what I mean? I couldn't stand open world stuff till that came out.
I have not played the Far Cry series yet.
I couldn't get into the first few, but 4, I don't know what it was, man. It was so well done. It was beautiful graphics. It was more than just a shooter. They try to get some action movie type stuff into there to where you can hijack a car. I just remember taking the little helicopter thing, flying next to the driver, and then jumping out of the helicopter into you know what I mean, stabbing the guy in the neck that was driving, and then pushing him out, and then taking over the car. And that was a skill that you had to level up to. It was awesome.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then and you can ride anything. There's elephants and all that stuff. But I can go on forever about that game. And then
I guess I just have to ask one thing before we get off Far Cry 4.
Yeah.
I heard there's a thing at the beginning of the game where you're in the main villain's mansion or villa or whatever.
Yeah.
And he walks away to take a call.
Mm-hmm.
And that if you stay there until he's done the call, which takes a few minutes, that he comes back and kills you and the game's over and the credits roll.
I don't know if he, I don't remember staying there. I know they said that there's something.
You're not supposed to.
Yeah.
I heard this guy talking about how the guy walked away to take the call. He thought he was supposed to stay, so he didn't care. So he walked away to get a snack and a drink. And when he came back, the credits were rolling.
What's cool about the game, and it's a spoiler alert a little bit maybe, is it puts you in a position to where you work with these rebels against this guy, and the choice you have to choose. Even there's infighting amongst the rebels, you have to choose between the leaders, and at the end, I don't want to give away too much for those who haven't played it, but at the end, you realize that no matter how good your intentions are, in that situation, nobody's perfect, and they're always going to screw something up. And it really was wow, it was an eye opener. And I always enjoy a game like that because no matter you didn't feel completely clean, no matter what side you picked, is the best way I could say it.
Okay, so a shades of gray kind of situation.
Yeah, you know what I mean. There's I did this, but you know what I mean. This still happened. So it was realistic. And then I would say Prince of Persia, Warrior Within. Was that the second one?
Oh, really? You go with Warrior Within. Now that's interesting.
Yeah.
I would have thought you'd have gone with the first one.
I love the first one, but it was weird. Warrior Within was different than the first and third, because the first one he's young and naive, really cool. Then he's this gritty warrior in the second one, and it's almost he goes back to being young and naive in the third one. But yeah, I really enjoyed that one. That was when I got my Xbox when I was in training, so I played that a lot. I played both of those a lot, and then I would have to say Uncharted 2.
Oh my God, that game! That is just—it's wow. Chris, you haven't played the Uncharted yet, right?
I have not.
Yeah, man. Hey, that HD collection's out there when you join the zombie horde on PS4, man.
Upgrade, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, so what did you like about Uncharted 2 so much?
The first one I felt like was like a real setup story. It was like they were trying to do something different. And it was a good story, and it was a little bit different. It was what I was hoping Tomb Raider would be when it came to that, when it came to the PS3.
Okay.
But like you know, with 2 it seemed so much more solid. The action sequences were better. They tried different things. Like I just remember like I wanted to be frustrated during the whole tank in the town thing.
Oh God,
You had to
yeah.
think outside of the box. But then I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Because where any other game, like an action game, I would just run right through no matter how hard it was.
Well, the tank wouldn't scare you in a regular game.
Yeah, it wouldn't scare. This, I mean, yeah, this was really well done.
Yeah.
I like
The
the
balance
chase.
is good.
Yeah, the chase sequences. All that stuff.
The opening sequence, man.
Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah,
I was just like, wait, what? Like, what is going on right now?
exactly. I mean, it's he's Indiana Jones without being Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mixed. You know what I mean? He mixed with a little Han Solo. So like, I like that kind of cockiness that he has, and it's cool. I definitely dig that series. But out of that series, that'd be my favorite one.
Yeah, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that the interactions between Chloe and Elena are just absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, they're real good. I just picked up that HD series, and I should have said I've been hitting on that too every once in a while when it comes to this good old fashioned running around and shooting stuff.
Yeah, that's a great. Oh man, Uncharted 2 was one hell of an experience.
Yeah.
I only wish that collection would have came out last year, so I could have played them while there were less games out.
That's the same thing that I was thinking is myself. Like, and even with a Syndicate, Metal Gear Solid, then you got what, Tomb Raider in a couple weeks, Halo next week. So it's like all these good games are coming out all around the same time, and it's just going to be bogged down for a while.
Yeah, I mean,
most time consuming.
well, I'm stuck in that rock between right now. It's like Metal Gear Solid, and then Fallout 4 is in like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
So like, there's another 100 hours of my life gone.
exactly.
So,
100
and I
hours.
still want to play Mario Maker. Like, I can't even find time to squeeze it in. I don't even like. I'd buy it, but where am I gonna play it? When? How?
Well, that's what I mean. Like, I want to play Witcher, the newest one, but like,
Yep.
how much I play games now, like the time that I can devote to it, it would probably take me about 20 years to get through it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, unless something drastically changes, you know?
Well, you know what? One thing I can say about that game is a lot of the side quests are garbage. So you can really just skip most of it if you don't want to do it. So you can really truncate the size of that game if you're willing to give up the side stuff because it's not very critical.
Yeah, well, that's the part that always killed me with the open worlds is like you know what I mean? Like, I'm a perfectionist when it comes to games.
Yeah.
I have that like Symphony of the Night like disease, OCD, where it's like I want to get whatever 200%, whatever it was. So I get stuck running around doing everything.
Oh man, and people crack that thing too. They got it well into like 215, 220 range. Like they found ways to get out of the walls of the castle and into areas you're not supposed to. And
yeah, I mean, like stuff like Arkham Knight drove me nuts, where it was like, hey, you have to figure out these next 300 riddles to get the next 30 seconds in the video.
Yep.
And finally, I was like, you know what? I'm trading this in YouTube, and I'm going to drive myself crazy trying to find all this.
Yeah, that one was pretty bad from what I heard with all the extras to get the true ending.
Because you had to get all the trophies. It wasn't just like solve riddles. Like I could have did that. That was easy enough. But it was like, oh, and there was 300 trophies, so it wasn't just like 30 or 40 or 50. I was like, I'm good for the extra 30 seconds. I can hold off. I love you, Batman, but kick your developer's ass for doing this to us.
Oh man. Well, I'll tell you what. That's a pretty good core 4, man. And it's good to get a better idea of, how you see, what you see as the great games.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, I'm an action game kind of person, so, I mean,
That's
I do
fine.
big puzzles, but they got to wedge them in there somehow, you know what I mean, between the action.
Man, I haven't even played any of the ones you listed. Like, I played Far Cry 3, and I enjoyed it. I hated the main character. I hated the guy you played, but, like, yeah, I haven't played any of those games you listed, but they all sound good. Well, Uncharted's always been on my list of games to play.
Well, I mean, The Far Cry 4 blows 3 out of the water. Any game that starts should I stay or should I go? You know what I mean? With that as the intro song.
That's pretty good.
And like he's like the way it is, he's an American born going back to his homeland that's just in this massive civil war. So I mean, it really pulls you in. You dig the character. You'll love 4, even if you hate it 3. So
cool.
Yeah, that's definitely one of them games I want to get back to if I can get a chance, because, I don't know, I know you can do all kinds of crazy shit in that game, like blowing up things and riding animals, and that I want to do that kind of stuff.
And it has a good balance of, like, not making you wait too long for some of the payoff, but not just throwing it all at once, you know what I mean? So it keeps you interested for a while.
Yeah, I don't know. That's going to be one of them games I look for when I'm like, I got nothing to play. What's out there that I missed? I think that's going to be one of them I go back to pretty quick.
Yeah.
All right. So let's move into our topic of the night here, because we got some stuff to discuss. So if you've been paying any attention this week, you saw that some reports came out about the NX. Most specifically a Wall Street Journal report, which led to every game media outlet talking about the NX. And typically we don't do news on the show, but this is topical, and anything Nintendo is always close to my heart, and I kind of wanted to talk about it, about what I think about Nintendo, NX, what it could be, how it could fulfill all my dreams, how it could crush my soul, how it could destroy Nintendo's financial success. But, so let's get into it. Did any of you guys really get much into the reports at all?
Yeah. I looked into a few of them. They're all pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Top end chips and everything. Better than PS4, Xbox One, console, handheld, hybrid. Like, I mean, that alone kind of sounds like the Wii U, just with better stuff. So
it sounds like an enhanced gamepad, right?
Yeah, like it doesn't. Like I have high hopes, and I'm hoping with them sending it out to third-party developers that we get some better games. And I hope they use the system to its full potential. Otherwise, that's a crapshoot. Like, that's not going to be good.
Yeah, I mean, the potential thing's what I'm worried about, because I mean, I think it was a GameCube, Jim, that we used to play, and like Metroid when it first came out. The graphics were so much better than any other system at the time, and this was supposed to be the weakest of the system when it came to that. But it just took an actual developer to push it, and I think Nintendo does that a lot, where they have so much potential, but there's nobody pushing those chips to make that. You know what I mean? There's video cards and all that to make it a really good, solid, beautiful experience that it can be.
Well, there were a couple things that helped the GameCube. One was that it came out after the PS2, so they had a little bit of an edge there, because coming out later always gives you that opportunity to step it up a little bit. Two was that Nintendo tends to use a lot of those, like, vibrant colors, and they don't go for that, like, realistic look. And because what you see is, like, you get a lot of what you saw during, like, say, the Xbox 360 generation, where everything was brown and gray, you know? And it looks more real, but it also looks kind of shitty, and, video games going back were always about, like, colors and crazy, non-realistic stuff. Yeah. So, like, Nintendo always adheres to that. They find ways to use color palettes to make a game look better. Something that they don't get enough credit for. Two, the GameCube was really easy to develop for. And much like you see with the PS4 now, how developers are just like, yeah, I love developing for this thing. It was kind of the same with the GameCube.
Yeah.
Like, PS2 was where you went to make money, but it was a pain in the ass to develop for compared to the GameCube.
Huh. Yeah, well, it's, what you could really see with Nintendo stuff, especially back then, and I'm sorry to keep referring back to then, but this pushing its limits.
There isn't much recently from Nintendo worth talking about. So that's perfectly fine.
But I mean, like the Resident Evils when they crossed over there. Now they some of those started, if I remember correctly, on the PS2, but when they refined them and put them on there, and they kind of remastered them, because remastering can be really, I mean, you can see it sometimes in games now that can be really badly done. They were so well done, it almost looked like a whole new game when it hit the GameCube.
Yep.
And they always put they put effort into it, and they, like you said, they may not come out with the Xbox and the PlayStation around the same time, but they're not competing at that point, and they're putting a little bit more effort in their system. I would just like to be able to see developers this blow your mind. I mean, I love Mario, I love Metroid. I'd like to see a new Castlevania, something like that, and a few new games that have the spirit of Nintendo, where it's a little bit more family oriented or a little bit more like fun oriented, but just really push it and blow your mind, because I know they can do it.
Well, I'll tell you what. First off, Castlevania might be dead, but I'll give you a little something to look into. It's called Bloodstained: Ritual of the Night. It's the guy, Koji Igarashi, who was the producer for Symphony of the Night and all the Metroidvanias that followed after that.
Yeah.
Konami wouldn't let him make another Castlevania game, so he said, well, let me go. So they let him go. He went to Kickstarter, put this game out there. He said, I got side funding, but they won't make the game unless the fans will prove there's demand for it. So he launched a Kickstarter, and it was, at the time, the most successful video game Kickstarter ever. It got over $6 million in funding.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Now, it was beat like a month later by Shenmue 3, but it...
Oh, yeah, Shenmue.
So it got funded. They're working on it. It's due out early 2017.
Okay.
And my name's going to be in the credits.
Nice.
So, yeah. So look forward to that, though, because I've been dying for that, too.
There was another Kickstarter that they were thinking about, but it was like almost like a Jason kind of, not the new Friday the 13th. I know they announced that, but like,
okay,
I don't know what system it was, but like you could be the killer, and there was like it was almost like a stealth mode, like or like any of the kind of like reflex modes or something like that, where it slows down time, and you actually move faster as the killer because you can play one side or the other. It's like the typical 80s teen, it's a teen group, but they typical 80s scenarios where you're a killer. So you could actually like end up sneaking behind them, time slowed, and hiding in the room, and then they'll open the door and all of a sudden you're there. So it's a very like Jason kind of feel where everybody's like kind of running their butt off.
Huh. That sounds really cool.
But you caught up with them, yeah, and that was a Kickstarter that they started probably about a year and a half ago. And I just haven't heard much on that. I can't remember the name of it, man. I wish I would, because that's something that I would definitely get into.
Interesting. Well, I'll have to see if something like that... Did it get canceled, or...
No, I mean, as far as I know, they're still pushing it.
Oh, okay.
It has like a cult following, obviously, from all the horror heads. And even the stuff that they showed in the trailer was actually... It was pretty good. I just can't believe it's been so long since I've seen it, but like just you saying Kickstarter and horror, man, that looked like a good game.
Okay, well, let's get back on topic here. So I put down a few bullet points for this. So I'll just run each of these by you, and you guys tell me what you think. First off, one of the rumors about the NX is that it's going to be more powerful than the PS4 and Xbox One.
I want to believe it. Like, they have no specific specifications out there, so I don't really know what that actually means. Like,
yeah, I know.
It's tough to be like, oh yeah, they can. I mean, they can do it. I can see that, but the price range is going to be insane.
Yeah, well, let's remember N64 was more powerful than PlayStation 1, and Xbox was more powerful than PlayStation 2. And PS3 was more powerful than Xbox 360. Didn't help any of them.
Very true.
Yeah, what do you think, though?
And I think getting back to what I was saying, like, yeah, they can make this console more powerful, but if you don't have the games to back it up, then it's not going to help it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're going to get back to that, too, because that's further down the list here. But yeah, that's obviously crucial.
I mean, bottom line is if you're comparable in the market and you know what I mean, and you can get some good solid things going in the system, stuff people want, it doesn't matter if you're slightly below the standard. as long as you're putting out good product with it. You know what I mean? Stuff people want.
It's very true.
Okay, well, here's where I fall on this. And I actually started drafting a blog post about this and never got it up, but it's all very relevant to this. I have been mad at Nintendo for 15, 20 years almost now that they've been scared little bitches. They won't compete with Sony on the same playing field. They just won't do it. They've been running from them ever since they got spanked in the PS1 era. Like, GameCube was an awesome system. It's actually my second favorite Nintendo console. But they went weird. Like, they didn't do DVD, they did mini DVD. You know? Like, weird design decisions. It's a cube. Like, what the hell? It's got a handle. You know, it had this awesome controller, but, like, it still was missing things. Like, it had 2 triggers, and then it had a little Z button on one side, but no button on the other. So it had 3 triggers. Like, what? So, like, weird decisions there. Then they go Wii, and they're like, oh yeah, fuck power. Nobody cares what the games look like. It just needs to be cheap. Well, no, it can't look like garbage. Like, can we get, like, HD graphics at least, you know? So, they ran away again. They decided, ooh, let's get casuals, you know? But casuals aren't a fan base you can rely on. You can make a big number out of it, but how many mobile games get downloaded by millions of people and the company who makes them just dies? You know?
Oh, yeah.
Casuals can't sustain your business. You know, they're good for investor reports. Like, look, X million people got this.
I think it's because they market mostly to like the Japanese culture, more so than the rest of the consoles, where the console tries to open it up to more of the rest of the world, especially America and mostly Europe.
Well, I think the Wii was 100% targeted straight at America.
Why? Because it was trying to get us fit? That's a good point.
No. That would have been a good reason, though. No, because they went with the remote controller design. Because they wanted adults to feel comfortable with it. So,
yeah, they went more family oriented than they did with actual gamers.
And it kind of worked, but it was a fad. It didn't last.
That's the thing with gimmicks. You come out with a gimmick, it's only just so people. It's like a selling point. But real people who are actually like real gamers aren't really looking for that gimmick. They're looking for the higher quality.
I just realized how ironic is it that Nintendo went and basically did the kind of stuff Atari used to do back in the day to cause the video games crash. They were just like, we just want everybody to buy it, and we don't really care what happens on the back end. You know? Like, they were the ones who saved us from that, and then they went and did it themselves.
Well, because they panicked.
Maybe.
Because for years they didn't have competition, and then once they got competition, they relied on their fan base, which was strong, and kind of stuck with them, just out of nostalgia. And I think the last couple generations of systems, that fan base is not there, because you have a whole new generation of people that grew up not starting with Nintendo, and that's when they're like, oh crap, what do I got to do? Let's make money and run. And see if we can last, until we can get something really going.
I guess. I don't know. They will never admit when they're wrong either. That drives me nuts. Like, they've never admitted that they screwed up with the N64. Like, man, we should have done CD-ROM. We really dropped the ball there.
Yeah.
They talked about load times. Like, nobody cared. Look at the numbers. Nobody cared about load time.
You just have to have a little guy running between doors with a little CD symbol above it for your load time.
Yeah, there you go.
And it amazes everybody.
No, so, I mean, and then you look at the Wii U, right? Getting back to where I was headed here. The Wii U, they don't learn from the Wii at all. They're like, let's make it affordable, and let's make it energy efficient and quiet. And from some articles I read, it was thrown together really, really quickly. Like, the PS4, I'm willing to bet, was in development for about 3 to 4 years. And it sounded to me, from everything I've read from this insider report of the Wii U from one of the early developers, who was basically tasked with helping Nintendo to come up with the hardware design, basically looked like they threw it together in about a year.
Well, it definitely feels like I could have cracked open the Wii myself, put a video card and some extra RAM in there, and made my own Wii U. Like, to be honest with you, like, I was like, okay, there's not much of a difference. There's this cool little paddle where I could switch back and forth. It's really good if you have a kid that would just drive you nuts with a game, and you can hand them like the little gamepad, and they can play on that.
Yeah.
But other than that, there's not much of a difference. I mean, I enjoy like the Mario Party, the newest one, because that really feels like an actual board game. So they've done stuff in that area. But yeah, like you said, it kind of feels, it's definitely, you can see it was slapped together.
Huh.
Yeah, and it's other little things too, like that they were so afraid, right? Like, clearly the system itself is a knee-jerk reaction to the Wii taking an absolute nosedive and then realizing they needed a new system and they weren't ready for it.
Yeah.
But then they were so terrified they wanted to try to remarket that Wii name that was so successful and so hot for those 2 or 3 years that they called it the Wii U and nobody knew what the hell it was. Some people thought it was just the gamepad. Some people just thought it was like, you know, like the second generation Wii, like just the updated system, not a new system. Like, they did such a bad job with the messaging on it, and they're just they just didn't have the courage to give it its own name. And I think that really hurt it a lot.
Well, you know, let's give them some credit. They came from a playing card company.
Hey, this is true. It's just that...
But they also almost crashed the playing card market, which is why they moved to video games. So
it's just strange to me, though, that basically in the time when they had complete dominance of the industry and pretty much had a monopoly is when they were good. And as soon as it became like a fair market and there was competition, they've really, really struggled. Now, I feel like they nailed it with the GameCube, and for some reason that system just could never get penetration.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. It's one of those things that still baffles me to this day. But everything else, I mean, since the PS1 era, has really been pretty pathetic.
Now, is it because of a fair market, or is it because it's all we had? You know what I mean? Like, nobody wants to go at home with that fat chick at 2 in the morning at the bar. But if it's all you got, it's fantastic. And I'm saying, like, was Nintendo really that great, or was it just because it's all we had? We had, like, that and Atari. And I love Atari, dude, but do you remember, like, Pitfall?
Well, look, the NES versus the Master System was no competition. I mean, the NES and Genesis was some competition, but, you know, I mean, the 16-bit era kind of sucked, if you ask me. But it was something, but it wasn't all that. And then they got their ass handed to them and they still have not recovered.
And I like to put a little disclaimer in there. I have nothing against fat chicks. I think the record clearly shows that I have nothing against fat chicks.
Man, if she lets you hit those warp pipes, who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
She may not be the best ride in the house, but there ain't no line, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, God. Okay.
All right, back to games.
Standing in line, one of the rumors about the NX is that it's going to have the mobile component that's been so rumored. So they talk about this possibly being like the gamepad, but now it's more mobile. But nobody can confirm if it's like mobile, like I could take it to work and play. Do I need a Wi-Fi connection to hook back up to my system, kind of like Vita Remote Play?
Okay.
Is it standalone? Is the game loaded into the controller? You know, or is it just the gamepad, but it'll work on my porch, since the range on that gamepad's terrible. You can't even play with it in the bathroom. Like, that's the whole point to it, isn't it? So I can play on the shitter. Like,
I thought that's what the point of that was.
Yeah, it doesn't work for me.
I mean, I'm hoping that you can't really the amount of hardware you'd have to put in that to be able to take it everywhere else and still play the same games at the same quality seems like a ridiculous feat. But I mean,
well, if it's Wi-Fi streaming back to your system at home, not so much.
Then your system has to be always on at that time then. Unless it's like a cloud streaming service where if you own the game, then you can stream it to
if it's like the PS4, you might have it in rest mode. Then when you, like, because for the PS4, if you have it in rest mode, you turn on the Vita and connect to it remotely, then you turn it on, and you play your game via the internet on your Vita.
Okay.
So the gamepad could do something like that. Like when you connect back to the system, it turns it on. You go back to your game. Could be possible.
What's the quality going to be like?
That's all going to depend on your Wi-Fi signal and how well it's built.
Oh man.
Well, if they do something like that, like I hope they don't do what Nintendo's done the last couple times, as make it as a comparison to something like the Vita. I want them to keep in mind to beat the Vita, kind of, you know what I mean, like to be better. A lot like the last couple generations of Nintendo, and I think you hit on this a little bit, Jim, is like they're trying to do it to market it like almost as good as, but I want them to market it better than, you know what I mean?
Yes, this is what I've been wanting from Nintendo for so long to do, is to basically come out and say to Sony and Microsoft, like, fuck you, we're here to fight, you know, and we got the hardware to do it. But they never do it. They always are like, here, we have this weird new thing, you know, and we're not really there with them. We're kind of off on the side here if you want to, like, check out our little, like, video game freak show.
Yeah.
You know, but I want them to come out and be like, God damn it, it's our game. Like, we were here long before you guys. You need to leave.
Yeah, and I would love to see like a good, like survival horror, another good shooter, something like that come out of Nintendo. I mean, even, if you remember GoldenEye, dude, that started shooters the way you know what I mean.
Yeah,
that they are today. You know, I mean, they made that kind of genre
on the consoles.
On the console, yeah.
Yeah. You know, and it's funny because they made Splatoon, and that thing's got legs, but imagine if they had made Splatoon, but that catered to core gamers instead.
Yeah.
Nobody would have bought it because core gamers don't have Nintendo systems, but, you know, I kid. I don't know. What do you think about the mobile component, though, Yogi?
If it's done right, I mean, it's always been really good to me. Like a good idea to me. Like there's been times. I mean, as any gamer, but I especially know you, Jim, because we talked about this, where like you're sitting somewhere and you're like, damn, I just can't wait to get back and play. And if they can do something where it's like that, I mean, I think maybe like loading a game, even if it's one at a time, just a game that you're hooked on, kind of like putting in almost like video streaming. Like if I bought a video from Amazon, I have the option of downloading on my device, so it plays better. Like if they did something like that,
yeah.
I think that would be so much better. But then I wouldn't want to rely on my Wi-Fi when I'm trying to kick something's ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think this is the issue I have with it. One, I really don't care about the mobile component. I want my console to be a badass console.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the mobile thing doesn't really matter, because when I'm not at home on my couch in front of my big-ass TV,
mm-hmm.
I'm not really... Yeah, I wish I was playing, but I want to be home doing it. I don't want to be doing it, like, while I'm sitting in line at the grocery store. Like, no, that's not the way I want to enjoy that experience. And unless they can get it to me on that handheld and the experience is practically seamless, it's just not worth it to me. It's too much investment in something that's not really all that important.
Well, I don't know about the grocery line, but I would definitely like to get paid at work to be a game tester. You know, I'm not a game tester, you know what I mean? What's Bill doing in his office? He must be doing some accounting. Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah,
this thing's a calculator right here.
Yeah, I can't see it wouldn't be like that for me either way. So you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on the size too. Like you can't have this massive Wii U gamepad running around with you. Like you can't put that in your back pocket. So, I mean, the experience isn't going to be the same no matter what, unless they have something massive that you carry around, like a iPad.
I don't know.
Maybe Nintendo's the Matrix. Maybe that's what we're going for right now. And that's why the world's so crappy in the Matrix.
Oh God, could you imagine if their mobile component was like a VR headset and they just been keeping it completely secret?
That'd be nice.
If it's done, yeah, that'd be cool.
God.
Oh man.
And you work it with your cell phone, like so you don't even need to carry a controller around. Like your controller's in your pocket at all times.
I'd buy that 100%. Just a pair of shades. Nothing as huge as like the Oculus Rift, but something
You don't want to be
nice.
walking around with Oculus Rift on your head, man?
Seems like it'd give you bad like neck issues after a
Dude,
while.
I'm just saying blue blockers. You know what I mean? Like the old people wear.
Yeah, there you go.
Just rock some blue blockers.
Oh, man.
I think Bill's blind. Just shaking my head back and forth while I'm playing. Never shooter on there.
I don't know. It just, to me, it seems like the only way I'm interested in this mobile component is if it's like a really, really nicely done, like, I can't even think of the words I want to use to describe it, but it would have to be something like really exquisite and well put together and well thought out. And I just don't know. Here's my stumbling block, right? If it's going to be more powerful than PS4 and Xbox One, and it's going to have this mobile component, is that even possible? Because how much is that going to cost if it's going to be both? See, if it was one or the other, you could probably do it affordably. But to do both, I'm thinking this is like $600, $700. Like, we're getting into PS3 territory here, and we saw how that happened.
Well, I wonder if they'll do like the what is it, the Xbox One, how you can buy it with the Kinect and without the Kinect, and you have different price ranges.
You can't do that. We've seen how that works. It killed Kinect. It killed Move. It kills everything. Like you can't have a core piece of your system be optional. It's either integral to the game system or it's just something people on the side can have.
Yeah. Now, if I was ahead of Nintendo, I would just drop the mobile component and work on something that's easy for developers to work on and just looks beautiful and just moves smoothly. Just worry about conquering the consoles first, then maybe go mobile a little bit later down the road.
Just have a separate, like a sequel to the 3DS instead of having it a handheld console combo.
Yeah, because I mean they haven't been able to grasp the console in the last 10, 15 years. You know what I mean? So it's like concentrate on that, knock that out of the park, get your name and rep back. You know what I mean? And then start trying to explore with the mobile component.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I don't know how they can make this work with both things. That's why I feel like one of these things is bogus.
Yeah.
I mean, because if you were to have the PS4 and the Vita, right, that's $600 if you were going to game on the go.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And if you wanted that, like, 3G one, which never became what everybody thought it would be $700. So how's Nintendo going to do this? And Nintendo, the company who believes in the $300, that's the highest you can go thing, or people won't buy it. Like, I don't know. Thoughts, Chris?
Well, price-wise, yeah, I feel like if it's going to be as powerful, you're really going into the $700, $800 price range, and no one's going to buy that. Not one single person is going to purchase that unless I can't see it. I mean, I feel like they should sell it separately, but like you said, that's how a lot of the systems died, or the extra peripherals died. Like, you can't do that. You know?
What if we got it all wrong and they're just putting a console on wheels? I'm just throwing that one out there.
Maybe they're just going to add another handle to it, you know?
I did see somebody tweeted the other day. It was basically the Virtual Boy, like, photoshopped to be blue. And they were like, the NX! You know? There was just, bad thoughts started going through my head. I don't know. I just can't see Nintendo going against the affordability thing.
Well, one word, I don't know, maybe it's two words. I'm not sure how they do the sweatshops.
Yeah, but the problem is just the price of parts and, you know, the slow boats from China and all that. Like, there's just a lot going on there. Or they probably don't make them in China, right? Nintendo, like, hates China.
I don't know, dude.
I would assume so.
The other thing is, too, for a long time, Nintendo could survive with, like, the Japanese constituency, but the console market is dead in Japan, like, completely dead. There's nothing left.
To mobile.
Yeah, it's all mobile games. The 3DS does real well over there, a little bit of the Vita. So they can't bank on that anymore. And you saw Sony got real smart with that. And Microsoft might have too, but Microsoft's never even been born in Japan. So, but Sony got smart with it because they realized that the console market in Japan was dying and focused on what the American gamers wanted. and it's really paid off for them well with the PlayStation 4. Nintendo has to realize this and realize that Japan is not the place to sell a console anymore. Handheld, yes. Console, no. So I think the problem is, I guess, that Nintendo of America is practically a shell company. Like, they're just there in name. Like, what's the last great thing you heard come out of Nintendo of America? Like, they're just a PR firm for Nintendo in Japan. Like, and maybe they need to start listening to those people and seeing if they have a better understanding of what's going on over here and what they need to do to succeed with this console.
Maybe they need some think tanks over here. You know what I mean? Like small focus groups. I mean, essentially, isn't that how the first Xbox came about? Like even little things like the 9-foot cord. I mean, this was before wireless controllers and all that. But like
breakaway.
It was just all based on what gamers wanted at that time. Maybe Nintendo has to put some money into that, like the focus groups.
I'm still surprised that gamers from the Microsoft focus group didn't say anything about the size of the damn system. I think it was like
I think they did. Also, I don't believe anything Microsoft says when they loved that Mandingo controller that they were selling originally with it. That thing, man, you had to have like football player, like quarterback hands to use that thing comfortably, or basketball player hands.
Released the smaller one. I was so happy. I was like, oh, thank you.
And then they nailed it with the 360, though. That controller's great.
Yeah.
You make a good point, though, and I think about this. There's things that they can draw from that they're doing well. Like, their store is getting better. It's still not great, but it's getting better. It's a lot better than it was on the Wii. So, more improvements there. They can definitely get that tidied up. They have a really awesome controller with the Wii U Pro controller. The problem is every damn game wants that gamepad. That's the part they got to get rid of. The Wii U Pro controller's beast. So, you can work with that. They're in HD now, so they don't have to go through that process again. Whereas everybody kind of did that in the previous generation on Xbox 360 and PS3 and made that changeover. Nintendo was a generation late getting to it.
Yeah.
So now they're caught up on that front.
I just think you bring a good point with the controller. If this is the handheld console hybrid that they're thinking, are these third-party developers going to develop specifically for that? So then even if you had a regular controller, it was just going to be a crap.
Every time Nintendo does something weird like this, what generally ends up happening is Nintendo kills it with it and makes it awesome, and like 2 or 3 third-party games come out that use it well, and everything else just is abysmal for it or doesn't use it at all.
I think that's going to kill it if they do it that way.
That's why I don't want them to do it. I just want them to focus on making a console that's level with PS4 and Xbox One. You don't even have to be stronger. That's just equal footing with those consoles. With like right off the shelf PC parts, no weird shit, no like proprietary things, just nice simple stuff that people want to program for and can easily port over to your system with a kick-ass controller. And here's an idea: no more friend codes.
Oh god, yes.
Let's just have regular friends lists like every other internet service in the world.
Yeah.
Oh god, friend codes are a nightmare. Stop worrying about the kids. You gotta stop. Parental controls, just put them in the system somewhere. That's all you gotta do.
Pretty sure all systems have that now, right?
Yeah, like
so easy.
Make a parental control that makes it so that you can just activate that to add friends you need a friend code. There. Now you can protect the kids, and regular gamers can just go about like friend, not have to worry about them goofy codes. Yep. I'm okay with both existing in the same place, as long as I can disable it.
Can I go off topic for 1 second?
Sure.
Speaking about codes, right? Why is it, like I just got to PS4 not too long ago.
Okay.
Why is it I can download the same DLC on PS4 with like 5 numbers for a code, But on the Xbox, I need like 30 digits.
You know,
The truth, man.
I would love to get somebody on who could explain that, because I don't understand why it's so different.
Well, I mean, maybe it just goes back to Microsoft. All of their CD keys and product keys are straight up 16 to 20 digits. It's like, let's come on, let's get a smaller code here, guys. Let's try to do this. But I guess it's anti-piracy. But if PS4 has been able to do it, why can't they?
Yeah, I don't know. Let me ask you a question, Yogi. As an Xbox One and a PS4 owner, and I hope to be joining you in that group very soon. How do you compare to download times?
Oh, PS4, way better.
That's what I was afraid of.
For the thing that bothers me the most with the one, all right, like the DLC, like both the internet speeds when it comes to like DLC is about the same. PS4 may be a little quicker on some things, but the initial putting in the game and wanting to play, PS4 is like bing, ready to play, right? And like I'll give you an example. Like I just got Syndicate.
Okay.
I put it in. I hit update now, and then I took my daughter to get her Halloween costume. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't even wait around for it to load up all the way. And then I came back and it was ready. Like, you know, like I know what I got to, like, I can do that and start cooking, whatever I got to do at the moment.
Okay. So if you're busy, Xbox One might be better.
Yeah. If you don't want if you just get a brand new game at the midnight launch, but you don't want to play it before 3 a.m., you know what I mean?
Okay.
Definitely the Xbox One is the way you want to go.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard from people in this area specifically that there's a lot of problems with it. Some people are attributing it to Comcast. I don't really know.
I usually do that when I have internet issues.
It's an Xbox problem, dude. I mean, like, they made it, because they made it so that you had to download every game on the system.
Yeah, guy at work was telling me about that.
What?
And then, like, you have to get, like, they give you, like, 500 gigs, which is, like, 4 games or something like that. Like, it's something ridiculous, like 4 or 5 games.
It's bad this generation. These games are huge.
And then, like, so then I went and bought, like, thankfully, I found one dirt cheap for, like, $70, like a 1 or 2 terabyte removable hard drive.
Okay.
The Xbox One is like way expensive. You can just get a regular one and format it. But yeah, I mean, it's like at first I was like, all right, well, I'm done this game. Let me delete this so I can put in another game, kind of stuff like that.
Yeah. Now see, on PS4, I have a 2 terabyte hard drive in there. It was really cheap, and it took me less than 5 minutes to put it in. You know, like it was so simple. It was like just buy any laptop hard drive you want and pop it in there.
I still don't get why Microsoft hasn't done something like that.
I don't know what the design philosophy was. I think I read something saying that it's like buried in the system somewhere, so you can't really access it.
Yeah, you got to get a removable and just plug it in the back. You can get like 2 or 3 removables and do that, but...
Well, see, the reason I asked you this, Yogi, was because here's my thing. I planned to game primarily on the PS4 for this generation, and I just want an Xbox One for those exclusive games that I can't get on PS4 that I want to play. But it scares me because I'm all digital now. Like, I just don't buy physical games.
Yeah.
So the thought of having to download on the Xbox One is scaring me.
Yeah.
Like, these, like, 40, 50 gig games, like, oh God.
Gosh.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure by next year Destiny will be like a terabyte large with all the updates.
Yeah. It's I mean, it is rough. Just because it's rough with the games in general. I mean, I think the internet, it's really up to your internet system on that. If you have a disc game, though, PS4 beats it out. But it's if I wasn't so comfortable playing the Xbox and the interface itself with Live wasn't so good, I'd probably be a strictly PS4 person.
Yeah, well, Live just they don't even make it to the parking lot. Like, Xbox Live kills PSN before they even get out the door and into the parking lot. The fight's over.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, I can't blame you there. PSN's getting better, but it's still very far from Live. Yeah, you know what's weird too? That whole, like, because you put a physical disc in, and it makes you download the game. on
Yeah.
Xbox One. And I remember a guy at work telling me this, and my thought was that is like a kernel of, remember all the DRM they were going to have, and the always online and all that?
Yeah.
I swear that is a leftover kernel from when that was going to be the way the system was going to work, and they just can't remove it without breaking all kinds of stuff inside the system firmware.
Or remember when, I mean, even, I don't know what they were thinking with all the initial stuff. And then like not even having a headset, they're like, oh well, you can use your Kinect for that if you get that, and it's like, who wants to use that? So I got to shout at my TV.
Oh God,
I feel like I'm my grandfather, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and then
Kinect
like
sucked on the 360. We really didn't need it again.
yeah, yeah.
I did like the idea though, was that if you bundle it in with every system, people will use it and developers will jump on it. But then they pulled it right away, so it didn't work.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot, and then when it was before it was released, people were saying stuff like, "Well, you know, the 360 is so good at this, and the 360 is so good at that." And I forget the PR person for Xbox is like, "Well, you can still own a 360." It's like, no, dude.
Oh dear God, you can't
Oh
say that.
yeah.
You remember when he said that? Because
Yep.
everybody said, "Well, it's not backwards compatible," and he's like, "Well, you can still own a 360." It's like, no, dude. I trade in my 360, keep 2 or 3 games I actually like.
That was his. That was when they were talking about the always on, right?
Yeah.
And he said, someone said, was like, "Hey, I'm in the military, and we don't really have access to internet. We want to buy the new console." He was like, "Well, you could just play the Xbox." I was like, "Damn, dude."
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, the whole military made a big deal that they were switching to PlayStation.
Yeah.
Like they were going to support the PlayStation because it didn't force them to be online, and that was real ugly time for Microsoft.
Yeah, he
because
definitely got
all
fired.
the morale tents everywhere you go, they have video game systems in there, like for
I
the
would
places you
believe
go
it,
R and R. I mean, they have all kinds of tournaments, and because of Halo, stuff like Halo is so popular there, and the shooters that were on Xbox, it was heavily Xbox driven. Yeah, and when they said that, because that can create security issues depending on where you're at. When they said that, they had a lot of PS4s started coming in, PS3s and stuff like that.
Mm. Yeah, that's okay. Well, we are like way out in Manayunk right now. We got so far off the off I-95 here. Okay, so here were some other things I wanted to just throw out there. NX will be backward compatible.
Well, aren't they all?
Well,
Was it the Wii U had some games? And I know
Wii U was backwards compatible with Wii. Wii was backward compatible with GameCube. And that was it.
Yeah, I mean, essentially,
You couldn't plug N64 carts into the GameCube. It just didn't work.
for me to care that the NX is backwards compatible, it would have to be backwards compatible all the way to GameCube, because there's nothing really on the Wii or Wii U that I care about.
Yeah, I'm pretty much in the same boat with you there. There are games on the Wii that I like Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, but I hate the Wii remote so much I don't want to go back and play them.
Yeah.
If they would patch them so that I could use the Wii U Pro controller, I'd play them right now.
And what was that with that Pro controller, man? Like, or the do you remember like the old school handheld controller you're supposed to attach to?
Oh, the classic controller.
And never worked with anything.
Nope.
It worked with a lot of like the downloadable games from the store and the virtual console stuff.
Yeah.
Like the Genesis and Super Nintendo and Nintendo Classics, but it didn't really work with many retail games.
It worked with Punch Out. Was like the only one I had.
Oh man, that was a nice reboot. Not as good as the other two, but pretty good.
Yeah, when they did that, dude, I was on. You know what other game was really good that I enjoyed? What was it? Is it No More Killers or Killer Number 7?
Oh, Killer 7.
Yeah, with the that was like the one that was all in the 80s, right?
I never played it, but I've read a lot of stuff about it, and that it got like real deep into the weeds about like mental illness and stuff and all that kind of crazy shit.
Funny story about this, right? So it's very 80s, like cult kind of like stuff is in there, and one of them is George Lucas should sue somebody because it's obviously a lightsaber is the guy's weapon, and in order to do it, you have to shake the Wii remote, right?
Oh God!
So like I'm in Wyoming, right? My windows are like the blinds are open and everything, and my neighbor calls me and he's like, "Dude, some old lady's staring in your window, right?" And I'm like, "Why is she staring in my window?" Here, I'm shaking this remote to charge my lightsaber. And
Okay.
it must look like some like jacked military dude just whacking it like right in front of his TV. And this lady's sitting there walking her, and she's staring, trying to see in.
It's
Oh,
like
man.
there was a Mario Party game like that. One of the mini games was you had to shake the pop can to explode it.
Oh,
I walk
jeez.
into a room, 4 dudes playing Mario Party, and they on that one. I'm like, dude, what the hell is going on? And they just look around like, oh shit, I didn't realize what I was doing. Like one dude was like hunched over, like he's like, this gives the faster strokes. I'm like, dude, no, man, you
Oh, jeez.
can't be playing that game. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
my God.
Can't play Magic Muffin.
oh,
Oh,
what is
man, he
going
looks like
on?
Quasimodo over there with a Wii remote, you know. Oh, man.
And I mean, this game was active, dude. I was like sweating and everything, and this lady's looking in. And I'm just like completely thinks I'm cranking it.
Oh,
Oh, man.
right. Well, I'll say this about backward compatibility. It doesn't have to be. If they made it backward compatible with GameCube, I'd probably do a backflip.
Yeah.
But it would help because being able to, especially bailing on the Wii U so fast, telling people like, hey, all that shit you bought, bring it right over. Like, but if everybody could bring over Smash Bros. What is it? Melee now? No, not Melee.
Wrong.
U. Super Smash Bros. U.
Oh, you're talking about the U version.
Yeah. So if you can bring over Smash Bros. U, Mario Kart 8, you know, Mario 3D World, and there's really nothing else for the console. Oh, Splatoon. You know, like you can bring those 4 games, the only 4 worth playing over, like, you know.
Oh, well, if they run into trouble with the NX, they can always release the Ocarina of Time again.
Oh yeah, I know, because you know that game's held up so well.
Yeah, it's their go-to.
I'm sorry, I loved that game to death.
Yeah, I love it too. Yeah.
For like, I don't know, probably close to 10 years, but that game is dated and old now. Like, and the problem is that Zelda, the Legend of Zelda series, hasn't changed one bit since then. Like, it's the exact same game, just with a different coat of paint.
Like was that Wind Talker or whatever it was?
Waker.
Wind Waker. He was essentially just Ocarina of Time on a boat.
Yeah, with cell shading. Yeah.
Like I was waiting for Kurt Russell to show up, and no, not Kurt Russell. What's the guy that did Waterworld? Yeah, it was Kurt Russell.
Yeah, it was Kurt Russell.
Yeah, I was waiting for him to show up at any moment.
Yeah. Well, of all the games that have come out since Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker's probably the one I like the most because it had the most character, and I think it's because it was the Waterworld.
Yeah.
Like, it made it different. Like, Twilight Princess was like, here's Ocarina of Time on Wii, you know?
Yeah.
And you can be a wolf instead of ride a horse. Like,
yeah, how annoying was that? I was like, whoa, Link's going to be a werewolf, and then you get it, and I'm like, what the hell is this?
yeah, that game was bizarre. And Skyward Sword was so bad. It's the first Zelda game I haven't beaten because it was so bad I couldn't even play it. I was like, this game feels like it's stuck in like 1994. Like, come on. Like, I could go play Dragon Age or Mass Effect or, I don't know, pretty much anything else that's an RPG, and it'll actually like have like character and a live, vibrant world. And I'm like, here I am, and it's like, well, you can only go here. You can't go over there yet because you're not allowed. It's like, dude, I'm like grounded in a video game. The fuck?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't feel like other games where, like, when they put up the gates, you know, and those invisible walls, kind of like, well, don't go here yet. Like, in Zelda, it's kind of like, just go right up this path to the next puzzle, you know. And when you do that, then you can go to the next puzzle. And it just... I was liking where the Wii U one's going, but if the Wii U's dying, what's happening to that game? Like, you know.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple, like you said, there's a handful of good games on the Wii U, but they just kind of they abandon it. You know what I mean?
I just think backwards compatibility almost becomes mandatory, though, just to appease the people who did invest in the Wii U. Like, here, you can still keep playing your games with the new system.
Because there'll be that one pissed off dude that he couldn't bring over Smash Brothers, and he'll be like, you know what? I'm making a fuss about this. I'm a letter writer. You know what I mean? Like he's.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay, so here's the key one, I think. Let's say the NX comes out, right? And it is all the things they're reporting right now. It's more powerful than PS4 and Xbox One. It does have this mobile component to it. And let's say they get rid of friend codes and actually have like a real online experience, which they haven't had in the past. and it's backwards compatible. So they do everything to appease everybody. Everybody's happy. And we'll just leave price out of it because that's too hard to guess. Can they gain and keep third-party support? Because every Nintendo system since the N64 has started with third-party support. Everybody gets behind Nintendo in the beginning, and when the sales aren't there, they all bail. So not only can they get it, but can they keep it?
Well, that's the key. If the sales aren't there, no, they're not going to keep it. But if they do everything 100% the way everybody wants, yes, they can probably keep the third-party support. Especially if you can play some of the multi-platform games on Nintendo also. Like
Okay.
They limit. Go
Let me
ahead.
present it to you this way. So let's say you live in this world, right? You've got the PlayStation 4, right? You've got your Xbox One, and you've got your Nintendo. It's not going to be NX because they never keep the name, so we'll call it the Nintendo Gangbuster, right? And Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out, right? For all three systems. Are you going to play it on Nintendo system?
Not with the gamepad. I play with the controller. Yeah, I mean, if I have it.
But what I'm saying is, in that setup, is Nintendo where you're thinking to go to enjoy that experience?
Not unless they pull
No.
me in with something prior to that. Like, I mean, they got me with Batman because it was supposed to be like the first Wii was supposed to be like this is your utility belt. You know when you first got to actually had the Pro Pad, the Wii U, I should say, it's supposed to be like your utility belt, and it just didn't work out that way.
Okay. Yeah, I remember they did all that.
I
Yeah.
think they're going to have to pull me in with a different game, and I'm going to have to like the feel of it. Just like I said, like the PS4 to me is the better system. However, I'm more comfortable playing on my Xbox. So it's going to take things like Uncharted for me to get a PS4. And I think it's going to have to do the same thing with Nintendo. They're going to have a couple exclusives that pull me over, and I'm going to have to get comfortable with everything that they have in order for me to get like a Grand Theft Auto on there.
Yeah, because I think the problem I stumble on is, like, I consider Grand Theft Auto a PlayStation franchise. Like, I know it's multi-plat, but going all the way back to PS2 with Grand Theft Auto 3, I just think of it as a PlayStation franchise, so that's immediately where my mind goes when something like that hits. So Nintendo would struggle to get me to buy it on their system, even if they were competitive on all other fronts, just because of the way I have attachment to that game in a different ecosystem.
Yeah.
Now, Chris, I'll ask it to you this way instead. Madden comes out, and you got all three consoles.
No.
Not buying it for Nintendo?
No, I mean, I haven't bought a Madden in a while because they've been just shitty. But like I started Madden on PlayStation, and then I switched over to Xbox because I like the feel of the controller a little bit better. And so I've been playing on that for years. I'm not going to switch over because Nintendo decides they're getting Madden. No, I'm not even going to try that. I know they had it for, I think, the Wii. I think we had a Madden release, and I tried it. I was like, this is shit.
Yeah.
So I'm probably not going to unless, like, I only bought Nintendo systems for their regular franchises. So you got Mario, you've got Zelda, and you've got Smash Bros. Like, I went for those. I didn't go for the extra third party. But if they can bring in some nice exclusives that are worth playing.
Yeah, but see, it's not third party exclusives that are going to help the system.
What I think is going to help the system is they're going to have to get the exclusives first that people want to play, and then they're going to have to make their system comfortable to play on. If they can make it comfortable to play on and get one big exclusive, it's going to pull people over for the other games. But without that formula, it's just another bad Nintendo venture.
Yeah, I just feel like they're in a really difficult place because
they're so far behind.
Yeah, people have established roots now with other systems, and it's really hard to get people out of that. It can be done, it's been done, but it's not easy. And especially with the fact that third parties really don't give Nintendo much rope anymore.
they have to be more aggressive. So I'm talking they're going to have to, like you said, they're going to have to get exclusive games that are comfortable to play. And then once they establish that, they're going to have to do the whole, kind of like how Sony and Microsoft have been trying to get exclusive releases for their systems. Like they're going to have to start shelling out money for that.
Yeah, they're going to have to take a loss for about 6 months to a year, and I don't know if they're willing to do that.
I think you're right about one thing, Chris. You said they got to get aggressive, and I think you're right because the proof is out there. Look at what Sony's done in the past 2 years with getting aggressive, with building relationships with third parties. Look at how many game commercials you see right now that aren't exclusive games, but end with PS4 at the end of the commercial.
Mm-hmm.
You see Destiny, right? You see Battlefront, you see Call of Duty. They're all ending with PS4. So you keep seeing that. Like, a lot of people think of Destiny as a PS4 game. A lot of people think of Battlefront as a PS4 game. Not everybody.
Yeah.
But you get enough mind share thinking of it as your game that works. And Nintendo would probably have to do the same thing. They'd probably have to go out there and put truckloads of money and basically say, hey, we want you to push the game on our system, not theirs.
Limited console kind of thing. Like PS4s did what? The Batman, the Destiny.
Yeah, they did Batman too. That's right.
Yeah, I mean they're going to have to do that, and that's and that has to cost beaucoup bucks.
You know what, dude? Amiibos can finance that.
Yeah.
Dude, their Amiibos and their handheld devices are what's really keeping Nintendo afloat. Like,
every time I go to the store, there's no Amiibos. There's like Dr. Mario and like Sheik, and that's it.
I can deal with the Amiibos. What I get nervous with all the other gaming consoles are getting very cell phony, where like you buy a $60 game, and then you buy the DLC. And then they want you to buy extra perks now, almost like the cell phones. Like, here, buy these extra coins, and you can purchase this upgrade.
Oh, yeah.
And now, like, the DLCs are doing that, and it's like, come on, dude. I just shelled out, anywhere from $60 to $100, depending on what the DLC cost.
Yeah. Oh, well, you weren't here when we had our conversation where I went off about season passes, where they don't tell you what's in the season pass. They just basically say, hey, buy it, please. Like, fuck you. What's in it?
Yeah, well, yeah, and then, like, remember at first season pass was just whatever? Like, it lasted forever, and then now it's like 6 months, and now, you said, you don't even know what's in them.
Me and Chris talked about this. The first season passes, right, were back in 2011 for Mortal Kombat, which I forgot. But then in May of 2011 for L.A. Noire, right?
Yeah.
And L.A. Noire, you got like a couple extra missions and a few other little extras. $10. $10 for the season pass.
Yeah.
Now they're talking about $50 for season passes, and you don't even get to know what's in it.
Nope. Yeah. Well, like Battlefront. Battlefront, you spend like I got the gold edition for Syndicate, which is the season pass with it, and then Battlefront, you get the gold edition. That's not the season pass. The season pass is another $60 thing.
Whoa.
What's in it?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, dude, you know what? Is Leia gonna fillet me as I play this game? Because another $60 on top of this is kind of what I want at this point.
But the problem is people buy it. Like, you gotta not buy it and only buy the pieces of the DLC that you like, that you think are of value, and it's a big problem right now. But it's a balancing act because that DLC is also what's offsetting games not going up in price.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a really difficult situation.
I blame the $60 DLC for Star Wars on that mouse, dude. That mouse will get you. Freaking Mickey. Is he screwing?
Grab your ankles. Let's not forget EA's involved here too. Like,
EA's pretty big.
Yeah, you got the devil is making out with his twin brother.
Grab your ankles.
I read something about EA not supporting the NX. Like, they're not going to be one of the developers.
I heard somebody talking today on a podcast. I think it was Giant Bombcast, but I can't remember. But they were saying something like EA gave back their Wii U dev kits before the system launched. Like, I think Madden was available at launch for the system, but EA had already sent back their dev kits prior to the system launching.
Damn.
Like they were basically like, yeah, we're out. Like, so yeah,
Well,
EA's not going to support the NX most likely.
Nope.
Well, I mean, it's unfortunate. I mean, it's just developers getting smart, man. I mean, they're laying off people left and right. They can't invest into a shitty system.
Yeah,
I mean, they can't invest that time and that money and that staffing to make games or develop games or crossover games for a system that's just. I mean, come on. I mean, Nintendo's been whores. I think that's what we're talking about. You know what I mean? Like, it's just take the money and run. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just get it any way you can.
Yeah, they're good at turning a profit.
And it used to be awesome. You know what I mean? I mean, I used to love, like, up till GameCube, I loved that. You know?
Yep.
And then it just died after that. You know? I don't know.
Well, I think of Nintendo kind of like an abusive ex-girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Like, part of me still loves her, but, like, she's just no good for me.
Yes.
You know, and she hurts me.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, lots of, like, lies and broken promises. But part of me still kind of wants her to come back and, like, have that, you know, crazy sex we used to have back in the NES and SNES and a little bit in the GameCube days, too, you know?
It's like a relationship like Forrest Gump and Jenny. You know what I mean?
Oh, God.
Fucking retarded. You know what I mean?
To take it there, man. Oh,
Man.
I don't know. It's really going to be tough, but if Nintendo just drops, like, half the amiibo profits into trying to really, like, woo the third parties into bed with them,
Mm-hmm.
that could go a long way to gaining some support.
They're going to have to do what every system has had a problem of doing. They're going to have to put out some major league games at launch.
Yeah, that's what's really
They can't put out half-ass games at launch.
I'll counter that. You don't have to have games at launch because it doesn't actually stop systems, because people who want the hardware will buy in on the ground level. You gotta have games usually, though, by the first Christmas season after launch.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't start having games then, even if they're third-party games, because that's all really Sony had last year, and I don't really remember Microsoft having a very strong Christmas season last year either. But they both survived because there were a lot of good third-party games last year.
But they relied on their name, and then
That's true.
Then they
had some.
They eventually put up afterwards. You know what I mean? Like, Nintendo needs an amazing launch trailer. You know what I mean? To get people to want to buy their hardware.
Yeah, but they're spinning this thing around so fast. I don't think they can make that happen.
They won't. I mean, they need to take their time. They have to have a full cycle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? On developing this.
I think what would help them at least is they like to do their Nintendo Directs. It would probably help them at least if they had some kind of roadmap. Like, even if everything doesn't work out as planned, like some things get pushed, kind of coming out and saying, like, at launch, you'll have this Mario game, you know.
Yeah.
4 months down the road, we're going to have this Kirby game ready to go. You know, 3 months after that, we got a new Mario Party that's going to be coming out, you know. 4 months after that, we got Mario Golf coming, you know.
Yeah. I mean, you can always go with my, like,
6
I have
months
a mark.
after that, Destiny's coming to the NX, you know. Like, just, like, give people faith. Like, here's the plan. Like, we've got this under control. Don't feel, like, tentative to open your wallet. Like, games are coming down the pipe. You know, because if they're not there at launch, but people feel confident they are coming, they will invest.
Look, dude, I'm telling you how you start the trailer, right? Whitesnake, pyrotechnics, and you don't even necessarily need to know it's Nintendo for the last second.
They're just in a factory that makes sparks all day.
I mean, like, just boobs, jersey hair, Whitesnake, and then at the very end, it's like Nintendo, and you show this console real quick, and then there you go.
That's it.
People are like, what the hell happened?
Wait, what if they took the commercial from like 1985 and just redid the whole thing, but instead of the NES being in the entertainment center, it's the NX?
That might get some people getting on nostalgia.
Yeah, and Rob the Robot can even still be in the commercial.
It's awesome. Not the Power Glove. Not the Power Glove.
No, there can actually be a bunch of people photoshopped in outside burning all the Power Gloves at a big bonfire.
Instead of like the Nazi book burning, you can just replace the Power Gloves into that.
Yeah, and you know what? We could throw Skyward Sword in there while we're at it.
Yeah,
you know,
might as well.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm going to be following this. Like I said, I always kind of am rooting for Nintendo, like the underdog, to come through, and I want them to come in and just, like, wreck shop and, like, you know, set the industry, like, a buzz, like, what the hell's happening here? But I'm more afraid it's going to be like, what the hell is happening here?
Yeah.
You know? And that's always the fear I have with Nintendo anymore.
Yeah, I'm just, I get it. I think I get it the same reason everybody else gets it. It's because it's a system that I grew up on, and then I get a Mario game for my daughter, and then it's a system that she grew up on. You know what I mean? But other than that, it's just, as a gamer itself, dude, I've never, ever, ever picked up my Wii U stuff. Never played a game on it. Like, strictly for my daughter and my wife, you know what I mean? Like, I've tried, I've looked at stuff, and I'm like, there's just nothing really that pulls me in. I mean, like, I played the Mario Party, but it was with my daughter, and that was good because it felt like a board game, but all the other games, there's just nothing that pulls me in.
I still haven't played the Wii U. I refuse to.
I like it a little bit, but, I mean, when I'm looking to game, I'm generally running to the PS4. You know, when I get Mario Maker, I'll spend some time with the Wii U.
I'm looking at Yoshi Yarn or whatever it is for my daughter.
The Woolly World. I read a review. It's pretty decent. It's not gonna knock your socks off, but it would work as one of them games the two of you could probably enjoy. It's not so hard that she probably can't play it, but for you it'll probably be a little easy.
Dude, she was playing Batman, so I think she can handle it.
Oh, yeah, I think she'll be fine.
She was like, hey, Dad, can I move Batman? I come home the next day, and she's kicking the crap out of everybody. I was like, what the hell just happened here?
It's like, Dad, can I just ride the L in Grand Theft Auto? Yeah, go ahead. You know, an hour later you come back, they're running pedestrians over. Like, all right, that's enough of that. Back to Viva Pinata for you.
Exactly.
Yeah, I just referenced Viva Pinata. That happened.
Hey, dude, what was the one that they had with the Kinect that was so bad? It was the Animal Cub. Yeah, Kinectimals, dude.
Oh, God.
Kinectimals, yeah. Oh, man.
You want to see bad video games, stuff that came out for Kinect launch and PlayStation Move launch? Oh, man. There's some real garbage there.
I'm trying to think of a good Kinect game that I played, but I don't think there is any.
I think this is a future episode, like the video game bonfire. Like, what are we just going to throw in there? I just think we could go on for hours about bad games that we want to throw in.
Tiger Woods Golf, finding out about his mistresses, I love that game on Kinect. But that was the only game. But the problem is, at some point I got too fat that it just wouldn't read me swinging all the way through. My gut, it would just think it was my arm, and I'm like, no. Xbox.
Oh, man.
And I would just get like a really bad slice, and I was like, you son of a bitch.
Oh, man. All right. Well, enough with the NX. Let's get this thing moving along. I'm going to move into Malgadar's Minute straight away here. And for those of you who haven't watched before, Malgadar's Minute is basically when I go off on a rant for about 60 seconds on something that's just getting under my skin. And let's get this thing started. So for my Malgadar's Minute this week, I'm going off on the Final Fantasy team, and not necessarily the rest of Square Enix, just the Final Fantasy team. I am getting sick and tired of this team developing their own engines, and they're like, look how amazing and how beautiful this thing is. But it delays the game by like 3 or 4 years because they have all these technical issues. Here's an idea. Why don't you lease a high-quality engine and put your focus back to where it should be, which is making a great game with a great story, instead of like, oh, look at this custom engine we built, and it took years and tons of money, and now our game looks pretty. Like, guess what? You can use Unreal Engine or something else, and your game will look amazing, and you could put more money and resources into getting back to being the greatest goddamn RPG game developer out there, like you used to be. So I don't know. If I was in charge, this is what I would do. Alright, I'm done. 2 seconds to spare. Square, you're not even worth all 60 seconds of my rant.
It's pretty simple for them to do, but I don't know what their deal is with that.
Well, I'm sure the problem is that they do employ a whole lot of guys who do engine design. And it's like, they can I don't know. Why don't you just let them design engines in their own little room instead of designing engines maybe specifically for one game? Like, let them build really good, versatile engines instead, you know, and let your development team just make a game, you know, on something that's already done instead of on something that's being built in stream, you know. It's causing way too many problems. It's taken way too long for these games to get done. That company's a mess. They got to clean their shit up because that you want to talk about Nintendo being an abusive ex-girlfriend? Yeah, Square's right up there with them.
That's crazy though, because they got don't they have Disney backing?
For Kingdom Hearts, but
just for Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, I don't think they have it for anything else. But they're a bigger company now too, because they merged with Enix, and now they're a big-time publisher. Like, they should be able to put the appropriate amount of resources into things, but I don't know. It's hard to imagine this is the same company that gave us like Final Fantasy like 8, 9, 10, and Tactics in like a 4-year window back in the day. You know, now we got to wait like 5 years for one game. And if it was Grand Theft Auto good, I'd be cool with that, but it's not, and that's the problem. All right. So before we get out of here tonight, you guys up for a little 20 questions?
Let's go.
Sure.
Okay. Yogi, since you haven't been on with us before, you know how to play 20 questions, right? You get to ask yes or no questions, and you got to figure out what it is, in this case, what video game it is that I'm thinking about.
Okay.
Okay. So, Chris, I got my game, so I'll give you question number 1.
All right. Was this game released in the last, let's go 5 years?
Last 5 years. That would be a no.
All right.
Yogi, you can ask a question.
Was this game a sleeper hit?
Oh, that's a tough one. Oh. I think I'm gonna have to ask Google on this one because I don't know. I'll just type it in. I'll see if it gives me an answer.
You really smash your keyboard, man.
No, it's just them keys are super loud. I was actually typing pretty gently. Yeah. Come on, give me something specific here.
I mean, you could try Wikipedia. They usually have something if it has a cult following towards the end of the page.
Yeah, I'm having trouble finding this out. Let's see. Maybe it's down here. I just don't know what the buzz was about this game specifically before it came out, which is what makes it so difficult. It was definitely a hit, I'll tell you that.
Okay.
So I think it was a sleeper hit. I don't think anybody expected it to be as good as it was. So I'm going to say yes. If this one trips you up, I'll take it on the chin, okay?
Okay.
You up, Chris?
All right. Was this a console exclusive game?
No.
All right.
Okay. Was this game a RPG?
No.
Okay.
Oh, this is tough. It's trying to narrow it down.
You just got to figure out which things you want to narrow down first.
Yeah. Trying to keep it more general. Was this a... we'll keep it genre related. Was this a action? No, let's go with adventure game.
Was it a shooter?
No.
No.
Ah, okay.
Well, wait, by shooter, you mean first-person shooter, like FPS?
Yeah.
Or do you just mean, like, do you shoot things? Like, because they're two different questions, actually.
FPS.
No, it is not an FPS.
Okay, so
Alright.
we narrowed it down to being not a FPS, but a shooter where you shoot things.
Game. Yep.
I actually didn't say that. It's just you haven't been on the show before, and I wanted to make sure I understood your question.
Uh-huh. Alright. Let's go with it's not RPG, not FPS, not adventure. What does that leave us with?
Horror, survival, and or survival in general, I guess.
Survival, yeah.
Yogi, I'll fill you in on one thing. The game is not obscure. I mean, it would be very easy for me to pick some crazy-ass game nobody's ever heard of. So the game is always imminently guessable.
Okay.
And you also can't guess the game, because if you're wrong, you lose. So, yeah, you have to play by the normal rules of it. That rule helps you because you'll burn questions trying to fit, like, just, oh, is it this game? Is it that game? And you know.
All right, let's stick with that. No, yeah, was it a survival game?
No.
No.
Okay. Was the game a platform game?
Yes.
All right, platform game.
Hit 5 years ago? More than 5 years ago?
More than 5 years ago. Let's narrow the time frame. This game come out between 2008 2010.
Yeah. No.
Oh, he stumbled.
Yeah, for a second I thought it was, but then I looked at it. I was like, oh, no, wait, no.
It's a platform.
That's the problem. I don't know too many platform games from that era.
What years did you ask if it was?
2008, 2010. He said
Okay.
no, so it's before 2008. And it's not console exclusives.
Yeah. You got a platform game that was a sleeper hit, and it was released sometime before 2008. Not exclusively for consoles.
Hmm.
Jeez. Platform.
You could try to pin down systems.
Is the game
developer,
from a long running series?
No.
All right, that narrows some things down.
Yeah, well, that takes out like the Mario games, right?
Yeah.
Huh. Uh. Oh, come on. Was the main character an animal?
No.
All right.
question 12.
Oh wow, 12 already?
Yeah, it's
You've narrowed some things down, though.
but it's non-exclusive.
Like I said, you can try to nail down developer, publisher, what systems it was on. You could try to narrow the time down some more. All you got right now is before 2008.
Um,
What's going through your head, Yogi?
I'm trying to think of the different developers. Was the game made by Konami?
No.
Trying to think of all the stuff you used to like.
Not always how I play this, to be honest. And that would make it a little too easy.
It is my first time, so be gentle.
Game was picked in advance, to be fair.
Yeah.
Developers, platform games. I've got one in mind. But I don't want to waste it on this yet. It's tough. What do we have so far?
It's a platform. It has to be before 2008. It wasn't a system exclusive. It was a hit, maybe even a sleeper hit.
Not part of a long-running series.
And not part of a long-running series.
And the protagonist is not an animal.
The protagonist is not an animal.
Well, I should say the character you play as.
Did this come out? Let's see if I can narrow down the consoles. You can narrow down the games. Let's go with the. Was this during the Xbox 360, PS2, or PS3 era?
Yes.
All right.
Okay. Did this game start a series?
Yes.
All right. Was Valve the developer?
Yes.
All right. I think we got it.
How did you jump to that?
I had to guess platform games that weren't on, that weren't console exclusives. So I'm like, well, all the ones that I know are all either a Nintendo game or a Sony game. There weren't really platform games on a 360 or Microsoft, any console from Microsoft. And that one's on everyone.
Okay. So what's your next question? You're on 15.
Do you know what it is, Yogi?
Do I know what the game is?
Yeah.
I don't have a fucking clue. Excuse my language. Platform, Valve. It started the series.
There's two of them. The second one I think was bigger than the first, but I think the first one came out as kind of it seemed like it was more of an indie game when it came out. You play a female. There's a robot antagonist who's very sarcastic. Cake is a lie.
You're talking about a time frame when I was in a desert, so it's just, like I had like a taped up Hodge PS2, dude. It was. Oh, jeez.
Well, I don't think he knows it because of the time frame, Chris. So you want to wrap this up?
Yeah, is it Portal?
It is Portal.
Nice.
The cake was a lie.
Yeah, it took. So there's not many platform games at that time either.
No, I realized that after you said it. That really, in that. You know what though? Right around then you start getting like Braid and Super Meat Boy and stuff like that. So
yeah, that's true.
There were definitely other things to like jump to. Like a lot of the little indie games were starting to. Really,
but I don't even know indie developers, so I just went with like the big name ones.
Yeah, makes sense.
Uh-oh.
And that was one that I played. I was like, all right, let's go with the ones I know. Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know. I still there's something about that game beyond just the gameplay, just the aesthetic of it was something special.
It was completely different. And then it wasn't just a platform. Like you had the story you had
Well, it was a
Gladys?
puzzle game too,
Yeah.
Oh, Gladys and like Handsome Jack, man. You want to talk about villains that make you hate them? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they're like the Joffrey and Ramsey of video games, like.
Oh, that's a good comparison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I kind of love Handsome Jack, so no, he's more like Stone Cold Steve Austin, I guess. I don't know.
I think when you add sarcasm to your antagonists, you make them a lot better. Because they're both the most sarcastic assholes.
You hate them, but at least they're good for comic relief.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, fellas. I think it's time we wrap this thing up. So if you want to find the show, we're on YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, other podcast services. You can just search for the Collective Gamescast. We have our own website, collectivegc.com. You can find information there, and we do host the show off of there as well. If you want to be on the show, you can email us at collectivegamescast@gmail.com. You can hit us up on Twitter @thecollectivegc. You can also stay up to date on show news and other things over there. If you'd like to contact me on Twitter, I am @themalgadar, MALGADAR. You can also find me on PSN, _Malgadar. You can contact Chris on Twitter. He is @ChrisBCGC. I'd like to thank Yogi for being our guest tonight. You guys have anything else to say before we get out of here?
Thanks for having me. I had a pretty good time. Just like to give a shameless plug, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
I have a buddy who owns a comic and toy store, All Things Fun, in Berlin, New Jersey on Route 73. A great store to go to if you're into that type of thing.
Does he sell online or anything? Got a website to give out?
He sells a little bit online, but it is allthingsfun.net.
Okay, cool. Good stuff.
Nice.
Chris, go buy a bunch of stuff over there. You like that stuff.
I'm already opening up the webpage, man.
Yeah, I thought so. All right, guys. Well, thanks for hanging out and watching or listening, whatever way you consume your media. This is the Collective Gamescast, episode 6, In the Shadow of NX. And we're out.